Hello, I'm Stephen Coates and welcome to my studio here in Sheffield. I'm a watercolour artist and I teach, demonstrate and run workshops. I'm also the author of this book, The Watercolour Enigma, The Science of the Medium. Now I'm thrilled to be able to introduce to you a brand new Proarte paintbrush which I helped design. It has some completely new design features which will help the artist create trees and foliage. Here's the brush. It's called the Foliator, meaning literally the creator of leaves. Have a look at this clip and then I'll tell you a bit more about it and show you how it works. Now I think creating foliage with watercolour paint is extremely challenging. Most people, including myself, tend to use a stiff bristled brush and stipple downwards. Now trees and shrubs generally have a curved profile at the top, with branches that tend to fall at the edges. They also have a ragged, coarse texture to them. Every stippling brush I've ever tried has a curved underside, a bit like this stencil brush for example. And this is frustrating because that's the bit that tends to come into contact with the paper first, thus giving you an upside down curve. I realised that the brush I wanted didn't exist. Curved on top, flat underneath and cut back sharply. So I asked Proarte if it would be possible to create a ferrule, that's this metal part here, which had a semicircular profile. They said yes, the Foliator was born. So let's have a look at it in action. As you can see, the brush head has got a curved end, the bristles are splayed out slightly and they're quite firm, and it gives you quite a rough edge, which is great because we want that textured look when we stipple trees. Now as I turn the brush around, you can see that the ferrule itself has been flattened on the underside, and what this does is it removes all that unwanted bristle from the underneath of the brush and gives me in effect half a brush, which is exactly what I'm after. Now we recognise that most watercolour artists either work flat or on a gentle slope, rather than on a vertical easel. So what we've done is we've cut the bristle back at 45 degrees, which means that we can hold the brush in a very comfortable position, just like you would hold any other brush or a pencil, and easily drop down onto the paper and stipple in this way, and it's comfortable and it's easy and you can actually see what you're doing. I've prepared a palette and I've mixed this green using lemon yellow, raw sienna and some ultramarine blue. As you can see, it's quite sludgy and there's a nice big puddle of it on the palette. I've also created this similar puddle of paint, and this is made with ultramarine and light red. This creates a lovely dark purple, and these are the two paints I'm going to use to stipple some trees. Now I recommend that you wet the brush first, get it damp, and then punch it on a rag to get rid of the excess water, and also push the bristles out a little bit so they're quite rough on the edge. Unlike other stippling brushes that you may have used before, you really don't have to press down hard with this brush. Here's a few tips. First of all, pick your paint up and then just touch down very gently. move the brush from side to side, and as you can see, it immediately gives you the exact texture and shape that you want for trees. You can see I'm barely touching the paper. We certainly don't want to overwork it and press down too hard. It's giving me the exact texture that I need, and as you can see, it's not awkward at all. And I'm just going to pick up a little bit of the purple while that's still wet and just drop that in. And that gives the tree a few of its dark tones as well. So here's a few examples of the type of trees that you can paint with this brush. Well, I hope you like the look of my new Foliator brushes then. But I'd like to add one last thing before you start using it. It isn't a magic brush. It won't paint trees for you. Like anything else, it requires practice. But I'm certain it will help improve your creation of leaves and foliage in watercolours. It has certainly improved mine. Cheerio.